Good Wednesday night to everyone watching here on the Elite Racing Network as we are getting set for an Elite Racing League special from the old Daytona International Speedway. It's Joseph E. McAdory 3rd Memorial Firecracker 200 as we have the old Cup cars on the track tonight. 1987 Chevy Monte Carlos and Ford Thunderbirds, as we're going to be going for nothing more than cash and a little bit of bragging rights. I'm Connor Sullivan, joined alongside by Rich Koshala, as we're getting ready for what is going to be a fast and furious and probably a crazy event here on the Daytona High Banks.
Absolutely, Connor. It's great to be up here with you and calling this race. Intriguing, like you said, because it is this one-off, and the victor going for $250. That's the payout for the winner here of this Firecracker 200. Cars that guys aren't maybe as familiar driving to what they normally run in our standard series. The older version of Daytona International Speedway, so a lot more bumps. I think it's a little bit narrower potentially, so different situation here. And of course, one of the big differences we've got here as we're watching through qualifying is open qualifying. So cars running up against each other using the draft to try and get fastest lap times. So we're going to have a pretty jumbled up grid over here as things get started. And, well, I say jumbled up, but those of you who are regulars with us will see Colin Bowden right now as your top driver. And, of course, no surprises there with Bowden, how strong he's been in the Cup Series. Tyler Fodey, Tate Lytle, Gerald, Campbell, all great, but man, oh man, this is going to be a wild event, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I'm still a newcomer to some of the Elite Racing events. Of course, I put in my time with the McConey Sap Shop's Elite Modified Tour, as we were in action last night at Martinsville Speedway. A bit of a caution-filled affair in that one, as it was a rough outing especially for Tyler Fodey, who was leading the points coming into the week, but he's looking to shake things up starting tonight, as he is currently, he just went to the top of the board here with less than 1 minute to go in the opening qualifying session. So things starting to look up so far for Tyler Fodey.
Yeah, impressive opening run there for Tyler Fodey. I did just see Dustin Dewar was putting in a fast lap, but there you see a crash, and that's what can happen when these guys are running so close together. Another car to look out for, Anders Krohn here running 207 miles an hour. You can see they're into turn 3 and sideways as they go around. So these cars, a handful for these drivers. As you can see, Krohn barely hanging on. He makes it through the corner, but that's certainly going to hurt his lap time.
Yep, in fact, he's just going to go to pit road, break off, especially considering that there's less than 10 seconds to go in qualifying. So
yeah,
picking up Fodey as we get down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there you have it. So it will be the number 40 Tyler Fodey who will be your pole sitter for tonight's Firecracker 200. Just a little over 43 seconds. And tell you what, usually you're at the mercy of the draft at Daytona, which is still true, partially true with these cars, but tell you what, with all the power that these cars have, don't forget there's no engine restrictions here, and just how unstable the aerodynamics are. Again, with the older track surface of the old Daytona, with all the bumps, it's going to be on all these drivers just to be able to maintain control over the 200-mile, 80-lap distance.
Absolutely. There's a lot these guys are going to have to handle on their own. These cars seem to be a little bit tight from what I've been hearing from the drivers down on the grid and as they were going through practice. So you're working around that, though we also saw that loose condition that Anders Krohn had just there at the end of qualifying. So really these cars are going to be a massive handful. I saw some onboard pictures again during practice, and we'll try to get some here during the race. The driver's hands are going crazy. Tyler Fodey, who is infamously a very smooth driver, gets so much out of his tires, gets so much out of his cars, and you can see that in his hand movement. He was sawing at the wheel here around these high banks here at Daytona, something you never see in modern-day NASCAR. So a really intriguing event, and we're going to get them rolling off here in just a few seconds. Tyler Fodey leading the way, and we'll go through the grid right now.
On the pole with a qualifying time of 43.066 seconds is the number 40 Tyler Fodey, and he will start alongside Colin Bowden, number 27. Row 2, it's going to be Gerald Campbell in the 31, alongside Joshua Adams in the 95. Row 3, Tate Lytle in the 56. Alongside is going to be Brendan Madonia in car number 12. And row 4, Jared Rexing in the 22 and Scott Crump in the 90. A little throwback to Ken Schrader when he drove for Junie Donlevy in the mid-80s.
Yeah, we'll head on to this next page and you see Alexander Van de Sant, one of our winners in the IndyCar series that we run on Friday nights, and Ryan Gavel rounding out that 5th row. Jeff Green, your 2001, I believe, Busch
2000.
Series. 2000, excuse me, Busch Series champion. I should know that. I'm sorry, Jeff. 2000 Busch Series champion there, lining up in the 11th position with Joshua Hodges, Jacob Adams, and Jake Hounshell, rounding out that next row, 13th and 14th. Dustin Dewar and Jason Hounshell, brother of Jake, then lining up 15th and 16th.
Yep, go down now to the 9th row. It's going to be Andrew Rucker, another driver that had a little bit of trouble at Martinsville Speedway in the Elite Modifieds last night, alongside my broadcast partner for Elite Modified Tour, Mike Goodman, Vincent Isabella, Cody Smith there in row 10, Alex Vans, and Chad Thornquist in the 11th row, Anders Krohn, Johnny Thomas in row number 12.
Yeah, and then finishing up the grid here, no times for any of these drivers, but Andy Trupiano, Chad Frankenfield, Josh Robin, Brandon Keys, Zach Evans, Joe McAdory, and Joshua Personette will all line up here at the back of this field, trying to work their way forward. A pretty standard practice you see here at Daytona, not qualifying your car, just running in the back here, waiting for that big one to take place. But again, a different event to what we're used to in modern day NASCAR. We're about to get to the green flag here and get 80 laps underway here for this Firecracker 200.
All right, waiting for the pace car to make the hard left turn. There it goes. Field now in the control of Tyler Fodey. We're looking for the green. There it is. And we are underway in the Joseph McAdory 3rd Memorial Firecracker 200. 80 laps the distance here tonight at Daytona, as Fodey, with some company on his back bumper from Gerald Campbell, they look to get by Colin Bowden, who slips back to 3rd. A little bit easier to space out with these cars, so you're not going to have as much of the pack, at least on the straightaways, but it's going to bunch up, I think, in the turns. We see Campbell going for the lead here on lap 1. They're going to go through. Ooh, they were thinking about going 3 wide.
They were there just for a second there. They were thinking about it, but remembering that it's lap 1 of 80 here. Great competition here for the lead, and who's going to lead that first lap as Gerald Campbell peaks to the bottom. Tyler Fodey goes for a block, and Fodey will lead that first lap. But interestingly, towards the back, seems like guys, like you said, spreading out a little bit, maybe almost single filing a bit, kind of moving towards the bottom. Right now, that bottom line seems to be, the place to be. I expect to see these cars maybe moving up the racetrack towards the run as the car gets tighter, the tires start to go off. That's another thing that's going to be unique about this race, is their tire wear is going to be something that you take into account, unlike, again, modern super speedway racing. So many different factors here. Gerald Campbell here hanging out on the bottom, trying to see if he can get past Tyler Fodey and Colin Bowden. But right now, those two going to the top here. Ooh, Campbell might make this work.
Jared Rexing coming up in. I got a little surprised there. It's actually a Jeff Green throwback scheme. One that originally with Jeff Green, he was also run by Scott Riggs for a few years as well. But Rexing giving that 22 Nesquik ride a good run.
And you can see behind them just how spread out the field is, and the pace car is out because we're under caution here for the first time today. Looked like it was the 28 car of Joshua Hodges, and you see them there on pit road. We'll head to the replay and take a look and see exactly what happened to the 28, and looks like potentially the 6 of Zach Evans involved in that as well.
It was funny. I was talking with Zach earlier in the night. He's one of my Speed 51 colleagues. Of course, I'm up here in the Northeast. He's down in North Carolina. Unfortunately, we had a rain out. We were supposed to be broadcasting from Millbridge Speedway tonight, but they had a very severe storm go through early on. And he said, well, at least I'll be able to make it home in time to race the Firecracker 200. And unfortunately, in trouble perhaps early on.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be watching here this 64 car. You see him up top, Andrew Rucker. He gets a little bit tight into the corner, hits the outside wall, brings it down to the apron, not able to control it though, and there you see the damage that he starts, and he's going to start the rest of this wreck there. You see the 7 car getting hit, and I think that's Zach Evans there spinning around, so he might have actually gotten away with not a ton of damage just going underneath that rolling car.
Yep, and Hodges is actually the 7 car. It's 28 on the scoring, but 7 on the side of the car. Looks like an old Alan Kowicki throwback to where he ran the Army look on his car in the 1991 Daytona 500.
Yeah, unfortunately for Zach Evans, that car looks pretty okay, and he does keep it off of pit road when the caution comes out. So he's gonna be in now as we're back to live pictures, but that could just be for tires here. A little bit of an issue there getting into pit road. You can see just how high off the ground these cars are lifted, so a little bit of realism there for iRacing to show, that and changing the tires, how long it took back then as well. These guys going to stop here on pit road. The leaders all deciding to stay out, though. Tyler Fodey, Gerald Campbell, Colin Bowden still leading the way there. And your top 4, Jared Rexing, rounding that out.
Yeah, absolute shout out to the folks at iRacing for this classic project that they wrapped up about a year ago. Definitely great timing during the height of the pandemic, during the shutdown last year when they came out with these classic Chevy Monte Carlos and Ford Thunderbirds. And the fact is that, again, you could run them unrestricted at tracks such as Daytona and Talladega really gives sim racers a great feel of what these old-time drivers had to deal with in the mid-1980s. And all that power, but no downforce to keep you on the ground. It was an absolutely Herculean effort to be able to just go one lap, let alone throughout these 500 or 400-mile races.
It really is impressive, what these guys were doing and the speeds that they were doing it back in the day. Obviously, here on the sim, nowhere near the danger, but still impressive to see the guys who are able to bring their cars forward. A lot more of a driver's car here than again, your standard super speedway package where you've got to work a little bit with what you're given and the guys around you and make your own opportunities. Here it's, the driver can make that difference, find that extra lap time, find that pace to separate themselves from everybody else. And we're seeing that a lot of talent here in this top 4 right now, inside the top 5 as well. I mean, heck, you go through this top 10 and all of these guys are serious contenders day in, day out here in the elite racing leagues, no matter what series you put them in. There's a reason for that there. Tyler Fodey leading the way over Gerald Campbell.
Yep, and of course, again, this is just a great race. Of course, we're coming up on the start of the B season for 2021 for the top 3 elite racing league divisions out there. And it's really just a good chance for all these drivers to just calm down, have some fun, and go for a little extra cash on the side.
Absolutely, yeah. These guys normally fighting it out for a championship have to think twice about some of their moves, maybe hold back when they don't necessarily want to. Today, it's all or nothing. There was a pretty solid, I think, $20 entry fee for each of these drivers, but that means there is a massive purse, like we mentioned there. For the winner, the top 5 all get payouts over $50. So a lot of money here on the line for these guys, and they're going to go for it here if we stay with Green Flag Racing. $250. Imagine starting your B series or your B season with $250 in the bank before we even get going.
It's all about the bragging rights, as of course we're going with single file rules just like they did back in the day. Pace car is in, and we are back on the underway. 5 laps in the book, now working lap number 6. Fodey still your leader over Campbell and Bowden.
Yeah, but Gerald Campbell going to look very quickly to the inside of Tyler Fodey, see if he can maybe get there. Fodey doesn't give much room on the bottom of the racetrack. Campbell looking all around the racetrack, seeing if he can find something here to do. And he's got to run off of 2, and he's got Colin Bowden to help him down the back straightaway. Here we go, Tyler Fodey versus Gerald Campbell for the lead.
Ryan Gabble giving Fodey a push on the outside, but it's not enough. Give the lead to Gerald Campbell as he and Colin Bowden are trying to break away, but the inside line starting to form again with Jared Rexing on the inside.
Yeah, so there you see Gerald Campbell now takes over the lead of this race, and he'll do that over Colin Bowden. Tyler Fodey now drops down to the 3rd position. I was going to say, a man who's moved forward quite some ways here so far in this race. Jeff Green qualified in the 11th position. He's already here fighting with this group for the lead. You can see these 6 drivers really going at it right now. You've got Bowden, Fodey, Campbell, Gavel, Rexing, and Green for the lead here early on at this Firecracker 200.
Colin Bowden. One thing that we're going to see tonight, the slingshot is back, as they called it back in the 80s, where you can get a great, if you lay back enough on the car in front of you, you can catch the draft, and you still have enough power to be able to slingshot by either on the inside or the outside.
Ooh,
and we're back under yellow again.
Yeah, pace car back out on the racetrack. We'll head back and see. It looks like Jake Hounshell with a lot of damage on the front end of that number 51 car. I'm also seeing Joe McAdory slow on the racetrack, and that'd be unfortunate for him if he was involved in that incident. We'll head back to the replay, take a look and see what happened to Hounshell, as there's some pretty clear damage on the front of that car.
So a little bit of a tough start for some of these drivers towards the back of the fields. Again, not quite used to driving these race cars that are, again, just so unstable, especially at high speeds and on a track on the surface where you're going this fast, and it's also, again, this rough. You take a look at the surfaces of both Daytona and Talladega nowadays. Yes, they have aged, but they're definitely nowhere near as rough as they were at the end before the last repave. We see, 25 got up into the wall there.
Yeah, 25 got up into the wall, but the 12 car here, Brendan Madonia, is the one who really kind of kicks it off in a very similar incident to what we saw with Andrew Rucker earlier in the race. This time, quite a few more cars, though, caught up in this one. I think we see Alec Balvan's there, and the number 5 getting spun around. There's that 51 car. Trying to see who else might have been involved in this. Might have been
McAdory actually made it through, though. He just got on the binders, slowed down, and was able to weave his way through.
Yeah, no damage on that one car. So good to see there, Joe McAdory. This obviously, I believe the son of Joseph McAdory III. So him paying for this memorial here. And just a quick mention here on Joseph E. McAdory while we are in this caution flag period. But he was a community servant in Daytona Beach for years and revered by many. He took Joe McAdory, the racer here, to his first race back in 1976 and sparked an interest that has lasted a lifetime. Great to see here. And Joe McAdory still racing here in the Elite Racing Leagues. Got through that last wreck. He's going to bring that one car back around and restart in the 24th position. Try and work his way back to the front.
A very nice looking car, too. Definitely similar to the All-Star car that Jeff Bodine ran in 1984 when Hendrick Motorsports went to Victory Lane for the very first time.
Great
always
bit.
Always love seeing these cars with all the throwback schemes here. It's old looking cars. You might as well give them a nice old looking look.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some pretty there's some new age liveries here as well. I was gonna say, the Gerald Campbell livery may be more colorful than what you might have had back in the day, as well as Tyler Fodey. We know that custom livery, and again, gives us a chance to at least briefly shout out. You see there the Blue Egg Marketing Scheme. Blue Egg Marketing coming on board as a premier sponsor here of the Elite Racing Leagues and the Elite Racing Network for the 2021 B season. So we haven't gotten the main season underway already, but happy to have Blue Egg on board. They're going to be a great partner to join us throughout this next season. So Tyler Fodey, thank you for bringing them into the Elite Racing Leagues, and he continues to race with them on his car here tonight and in the regular seasons.
And of course, Fodey not at all afraid to take on whatever kind of car that you can race here in the Elite Racing League. Again, he was taking up the modifieds for the very first time here in Elite Racing competition, and again, doing well up until some of the bad luck that he had last night, as I believe the Elite Modified Racing Tour, the Maconi Setup Shop Elite Modified Tour, will be heading to my home track, Stafford Motor Speedway, in 6 days. So that'll be next Tuesday night. Your Cody Smith Shop Elite Modified Tour going to be a 100-lap feature. Always a good time.
Yeah, great racing there. Connor, you and Michael Goodman here back in the 44 car. Cover those events. Always a joy to watch those back and see those races as they take place. So absolutely tune into those, and we'll be getting the regular season underway. For those of our regular viewers who are normally here on Wednesday nights, of course, the Cup Series will be getting back underway with the Home Place Beer Company Daytona 500 in just a couple of weeks' time. We've got qualifying for that event. We've got the Clash as well coming up. It's all going to be coming for you here this 2021 B season very soon. But we're about to get back to Green Flag Racing here, as this single event is what we're really focused on tonight, not the rest of this season.
Yep, 23 cars on the lead lap after the early trouble that we've had. Across the line to complete lap number 10. Green is back in the air as Bowden and Campbell trying to get a bit of a breakaway here as they're starting to fan out too wide, a couple of rows back.
Yeah, and Tyler Fodey trying to make that move on Gerald Campbell on the outside this time around. You can see there Fodey no help though, and you know that assistance from Jared Rexing on the bottom, and I think even Ryan Gavel may be going to the bottom. Actually, he's moving up to the top to help Fodey. But now we'll get to see this drag race down the back straightaway. Colin Bowden under attack from the inside lane, and look at the speed that Gerald Campbell is able to get with the help of Jared Rexing behind him. Campbell now shoots ahead of the rest of this pack and will lead again here as we head around the final corner.
Just amazing watching these drivers. Again, you can get the draft on the straightaways, but when you get into the corner, you are holding on for dear life. So you almost have to wall the car down a little bit. You go back and watch some broadcasts from the 80s, you can hear drivers get off throttle at tracks like Daytona and Talladega. You just don't have the downforce with some of these cars as we go here for an onboard shot with Jared Rexing.
Yeah, here we go. On board, Jared Rexing going right up to the bumper of this 31 car, committed to helping Gerald Campbell. There was possibly a lane there on the bottom if he really wanted to go 3 wide, but Rexing knows better, and you can just see out of the corner of your screen the gloves of Rexing and how much he's having to move this steering wheel and saw at it just to keep this car pointed in the right direction. Doing this, running 206 miles an hour side by side with a bunch of other cars. This is some incredible racing and incredible driving that we're seeing here from these guys here tonight.
Yep, and again, just having to deal, you can see how much the car is bouncing around on this old rough surface. That's something that they didn't have to deal with back in the 80s when Daytona had been repaved in, I believe it was 1979, and Talladega just about a year before that too. So definitely a whole different animal when you combine it with a Daytona with some age to it.
Absolutely, and this is even I believe this is what iRacing calls the Legacy Daytonas. Ooh, we might have had a car up in the wall there, just off of 4.
Yeah, exactly. This is a Daytona that is pre-2010 repave, or 2011 repave, I should say. 2010, of course, was the year where the track came apart during the Daytona 500, which, of course, was won by Jamie McMurray on that year. And got some movement here. But Bowden, though, he's been doing some great defensive driving as he's been able to keep both the inside and the outside line behind him. Fodey leading the inside and Rexing leading the outside.
Yeah, you can see Bowden kind of switching lanes back and forth on the back straightaway before they get to the corner. And once they're here in the corner, he's kind of able to stretch himself out. Ooh, as we've got a car
guarding the wall.
And I think that's Jared Rexing. No, that was Ryan Gavel, excuse me.
Gavel hits the wall hard.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, we got, and he gets turned around, and we got a couple of cars spinning around. We're back under yellow.
Yeah, Tate Lytle, Dustin Dewar, Alexander Vandesant all involved in that. It all kicked off with this 30 car of Ryan Gavel slamming into the outside wall out of 4. That tight situation that we're seeing with these cars coming to life here already, and guys really struggling here on this side of the racetrack. Turns 3 and 4. Actually, looks like the 42 came up into Ryan Gavel, and that's what got him up into the wall. Not too sure who that was that hit him, but that slows him down. And Vandesant, I think, might have spun on his own accord as well.
So just
a bunch of separate
situation.
Yeah, a bunch of separate incidents here. Let's head back to this replay and kind of see if we can dissect it a couple more times here. Just figure out exactly what happened. So 42 car. Trying to see. So, unfortunately, not all these numbers match up perfectly with who these drivers actually are, but I believe we're going to see this 42 is Vincent Isabella there on the bottom. You're going to see him slide up, get on the apron actually a little bit. He hits Ryan Gavel into that outside wall. So now Gavel is going to be a little bit slow here on this front straightaway. You see Alexander Vanessant loose on the bottom there, and Gavel maybe checking up, gets hit by Dustin Dewar, and then all of them come together, and poor Tate Lytle, I think, just an innocent bystander. That's my best review of that entire incident, and man, that was a lot.
Couldn't have done it any better myself, Rich. Yeah, it really was a two, maybe even I'd say a three-part crash out there, but definitely disappointing for Ryan Gavel. He got a win a couple of weeks ago in an absolute thriller at Watkins Glen on the Elite Modified Tour, and running a throwback to the Bahari Racing number 30, which was run first by Michael Waltrip and then by Johnny Benson in the early to mid 90s there. Of course, those cars were Pontiacs. This is Ford Thunderbird that he's got out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Some, like you said, some great looking cars here. Some great history behind all of these. I unfortunately couldn't tell you much about racing history. Those of you, again, who followed us on Wednesday nights know I'm typically paired with the guy who knows a lot about the past here in NASCAR. I've only been following it for a couple of years. It's always great to have that kind of insight, that knowledge of the past of this sport.
Well, that's why they drafted me in.
Absolutely, man. It's great having that information available and being able to talk about the past and kind of what these cars represent, because a lot of drivers just love, getting behind the wheels of these cars. They love the history that they represent. They love the way these cars drive. Even if they can be, notoriously tricky, they love that aspect about them.
Well, it's been notoriously tricky enough to bring about 3 yellow flags in just 16 laps so far. Been working lap 17 under the yellow flag, as I believe lights are still on, as we've definitely had a couple of vicious accidents here in the first part of the race, as we have yet to hit the 1/4 mark here on the high banks of the legacy version of Daytona.
Yeah, we're getting almost a bit of an elite short track type of race here, where guys not quite able to run too close together without getting involved in incidents, and we've seen this happen at smaller racetracks. Typically we're very good about racing around large super speedways like Daytona. 1.5 mile tracks we do well at. Anything bigger than that we do pretty well at. Just right now, everyone, I think, getting their footing, trying to figure out these cars a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some nice long green flag runs here. I'm curious to see, what tire stints look like. Obviously, these top, the top guys right now, 1st through 7th, haven't seen pit road yet. Everyone else behind them has. So going to be interesting to see how that kind of favors into this race, how these guys are working with these older tires now, as, 17-lap old tires compared to, you go to 8th place Cody Smith, brand new tires on that car.
There's been so many yellow flag laps, though. I just don't think there's any reason to hit pit roads this early in this race and risk giving up your track position, because, again, with how unstable these cars are and how the draft works, it's very difficult to be able to move your way up through the field.
Absolutely, yeah. That's also, I mean, at least on my end, a complete unknown in terms of what these cars do to their tires, how they handle unworn tires, what the tire wear is like. I mean, coming from somebody who's followed Cup and IndyCar, you're going from high downforce machinery, or relatively high downforce machinery, where it's maybe a little bit more predictable in terms of tire fall, of understanding how the car is going to behave when you get behind someone else, to what seems like a much more erratic car, what you don't necessarily what it's going to do when you turn the wheel. And so that's certainly got to make you nervous when you're thinking about the tire situation.
We'll see if things are able to calm down as we are getting ready to go back to green. I believe I saw lights off on the pace car out in front. Let's do a quick rundown for you. Colin Bowden, the leader, over Tyler Fodey. Jeff Green in the 3rd position right now. Jared Rexing 4th. Gerald Campbell in the 5th position. So we'll take a look for what the pace car is going to do. It is going to head down pit roads. And we are going to go back to green for the third time tonight as we complete lap number 18.
Here we go again, another good restart for Tyler Fodey, and you know what we've already got a crash here on the restart in the back of the pack. We saw it there just at the edge of your shot. Let's take a look and see who all was involved in that. I think I saw Andy Trupiano in the 34. A couple of other cars here. We'll head to this replay and take a look. It was before we even got underway, and I was just going to comment on the single file restarts and how, you know, there's not as much of an advantage for the pole sitter, but this is one of those side effects of these single file restarts. If one driver gets going a little bit too quickly or gets a little bit overexcited, we see this happen. And here we'll see if we can find out who triggered this whole situation. Looks like it might have been the 90 car of Scott Crump. Got a little bit overexcited here on the restart. Let's take a look.
He's pretty far back in the field. 15. Yeah, it's just a big stack up, and I think he was trying to anticipate. So of course, you can't pass to the inside on a single file restart. You can only go to the outside, but everybody was hugging the wall. He just completely messed that up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We'll head back and take a look, see who else was involved in this. But you know, there's a reason Elite has very strict rules about hanging back on restarts, and this right here is why. Scott Crump trying to gain an advantage by you know, sitting back on a restart, trying to anticipate the restart, gets that wrong and causes this massive pileup here. There you see the hit again into the back of Dustin Dewar. The 00 affected, the 34 affected, the 30 of Ryan Gavel I think might have just snuck past. I think you see the 12 car there as well. That's Brendan Madonia. But yeah, all started with Scott Crump trying to gain an advantage and mistiming that restart.
Yeah, it's just definitely a mistake where you just kind of got to whack your finger at a driver. So unfortunate circumstances now as we are past the 1/4 mark. Now complete, now working lap 21. Take a look through the field. See a couple of guys that did get into some trouble on those early incidents, and able to kind of fight through it, especially Zach Evans, who's up into the 13th spot, and Ryan Gavel. Despite the damage to his car, he's still hanging in on the lead lap.
Yeah, Gavel, lots of damage there. You see kind of the guys at the end of this lead lap. Joe McAdory just hitting pit road here. Andy Trupiano, I think some damage on that car as well. Michael Goodman. Jason Hounshaw, a lot of guys here with maybe some damage or just coming down for some extra tires. Johnny Thomas, the first guy then off pit road, kind of running down there. And like you said, at the back of this main pack, Ryan Gavel up in the 14th spot. So, again, very much still in competition here, especially if we keep these cautions kind of going. You know, this could get shaken up quite a bit. But, I mean, the leaders, at least for right now, are kind of staying as is. Colin Bowden, Tyler Fodey, Jeff Green, Jared Rexing, Gerald Campbell have all been consistent in this top 5.
Yep, so lights still on. The pace car will go at least one more lap. Hopefully not going to be too long. A yellow flag, since hopefully it'll be a quick cleanup here. So it's been kind of tough to see. It's been hard to get really a rhythm going so far here in this 80 lap 200 mile Firecracker 200. Is again just a one-off event here as we begin to get into the second half of 2021 for the Elite Racing League.
Yeah, lights are out on the pace car though, and we'll be getting back to green flag racing this next time by. Love kind of that juxtaposition there of the kind of new age pace car here lining up with all these classic Cup cars. Just seeing that here on iRacing. Unfortunately, I don't think they allow you to pick the pace car that you want during your races, so we can pick like a classic car. But still, funny to see that there.
They should have scanned it in when they were doing the old Monte Carlos and the Thunderbirds. So maybe something possibly to throw into the suggestion box for the folks over at iRacing. It's been a fun one so far. Hopefully we can get to some racing here. Again, along with Rich Koshala, I'm Connor Sullivan here on the Elite Racing Network for tonight's Joe McAdory the third Memorial Firecracker 200. Again, $250 going to the winner tonight. Again, Colin Bowden been the man so far. He's been able to keep the field behind him, but he's got Tyler Fodey, one of the top dogs in the Elite Racing League, and Jeff Green, who is a former champion of the Real World NASCAR Busch Series back in 2000. Of course, Green scores the 11 car, but he's running the 2 out there on the screen. A little bit of freedom with the paint jobs out there. All right, Green is back in the air. Much more orderly, at least in the front half of the field, although we see Rexing trying to get the slingshot already on Jeff Green.
Yeah, you can see these guys thinking through these restarts, and you know, we saw a restart gone wrong with Scott Crump, but you can see restarts gone right here as Tyler Fodey going for the lead already on Colin Bowden, using that inside lane, but not quite getting the run off the corner. He's going to have some help here, though. No, he's not. Jared Rexing thinks, no, sir, I'm in this for myself. He and Gerald Campbell go to the bottom, and Bowden blocks them off there, and Fodey is shuffled all the way back to 6th position from the lead to 6th and 1 straightaway. That's the effect here of the slingshot at Daytona International with these cars.
Rexing was almost in the grass about half a lap ago. I don't believe they have the yellow line rule, just as it was back in the A's, but almost a dead heat at the line. Bowden still holding on, but just barely over Jeff Green.
Yeah, and Jeff Green, what a drive up to the front he's had. Working that top line, he's got the help from Vincent Isabella right behind him in that 42 car. You can see Green getting nice and close to the door of that 27. And Jared Rexing thinks about going below Bowden, but again, another block from Colin Bowden. He goes to that bottom lane there, trying to make sure that Rexing doesn't get by him, making sure he's the man leading that lane. You can see the advantage that gives him heading into this next corner. Green almost gets turned by Isabella as well through 3 and 4.
And of course, Green, back in the day, he was very familiar, at least not so much with these cars, but with this track surface, though. Be very interested to get his opinion on how accurate this representation of Daytona is, and if it gets any old memories out there. Meanwhile, dead heat for the lead again. Jared Rexing rather, on the inside, and he's got drafting help from Gerald Campbell, or does he? Campbell thinking about making it 3 wide.
Yeah, here we go. You've got Chad Thornquist, who's now in the picture here in the number 92 car. You see him there, that blue and black Inferno Racing machine, trying to work that bottom lane. Maybe thought about going for a pass, but he's moved his way all the way up into 4th position. Look out for Josh Robin as well here in this 8 car, as Jeff Green is now getting shuffled to the back. So we're starting to see it all take shape here. Guys are moving forward, moving back here, finding runs here and there, and this is what we're getting from this green flag run right now. 2x2 though, still up front, as Campbell almost slides up into teammate Josh Robin on the outside, though they stay 2x2 as they're still going for the lead here between Rexing and Bowden.
Bowden, he just has a razor grip on the lead right now. Just very, very hard to get rid of him. He has got a good car out there now. But Rexing, he's got the drafting help as Campbell going in for the pump draft. You didn't see that a lot back in the 1980s, but this is the 21st century, though, and the bump draft is the way of life. Doesn't matter if you are using these throwback cars in iRacing form. As a little bit of a moment there, as I believe that was Thornquist who nearly got up into the wall.
Yeah, Thornquist gets tight underneath Vincent Isabella, and you can see what that does for the driver of the number 42. That just slides him all the way back the order here. Vincent Isabella right now losing positions as he rolls back behind Tyler Fodey, who's lost a lot of time as well. Vincent Isabella trying to slot in there between the 40 and the 25 car. I think, who's in the 25? See, timing and scoring giving me a little bit of issues here with Vincent Isabella ahead of Jacob Adams, I believe, there in the 25. But yeah, man, oh man, that was close between those two. But Isabella back on the move and chasing down these leaders. Rexing now has taken over the lead.
Yep, Rexing now he's been able to get in front of Bowden. So Jared Rexing trying to use Colin Bowden for some drafting help, but that has opened the door for Gerald Campbell on the inside, and he's brought Jeff Green back into the mix.
Here we go. So you've got Campbell and Green working that bottom lane, and now Robbins joining them there. Top lane now is Rexing, Bowden, and Thornquist. So here we go. 2x2x2 as they're starting to kind of file up, though, as that outside lane with the help from Colin Bowden, they're starting to stretch out just a little bit, and Thornquist slots his way. Man, oh man, that was extremely close, and that's left Jared Rexing on the outside to dry. Thornquist moves his way into third on that bottom lane. Bowden, though, going to come back up to potentially help Jared Rexing, or maybe just go for the block if Rexing gets the run.
I wonder if it was that close. It might have just been the camera angle playing tricks with our eyes out there. But meanwhile, Bowden's got the lead back as Rexing. He's being hung out to dry on the outside. Meanwhile, Chad Thornquist, it's the highest he's been so far in this race. He's up to third, but not for long. Here comes Jared Rexing back in the inside as we are now 29 laps complete, working lap 30.
Yeah, so Rexing now working that inside lane on Thornquist. Meanwhile, Campbell trying to see if he can get to the inside of Colin Bowden. Not quite able to do that. Bowden, you see there, really cuts down on the exit of the corner here as they found some lap traffic, and that was almost closed with Gerald Campbell. Maybe trying to get a little bit of a draft, but maybe a little bit too much there as the caution flag flies. We got a slow car on the racetrack. Looks like the 17 here of Brandon Key. A lot of damage there on this one.
Disappointed to see. That's an old Darrell Waltrip scheme from the NASCAR Busch Series in the 1980s. The super flow look on that car. Of course, that was during the years where he ran the Tide Ride in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, but he also had a very nice looking super flow car in the Busch Series as well. As look at what happened.
All right, looks like that's the 18 of Joshua Personette behind him. Looks like they just come together a little bit there off the corner. So both Personette and Key go spinning. Looks fairly harmless, though, so far. So not too sure where the damage
He was
came
on was running the apron there, and he got down a little bit and just really upset the car. Not really sure what could have caused this.
Oh, he just loses it on acceleration there.
Oh, man. Wow. And a little bit of iRacing physics unfortunately took over there as he rolls over. So, man, he actually came out of that one unscathed, but just a little bit too quick getting back to the power.
Yeah, he's continuing to run here, going to chase down the pack. Stays on the back of the lead lap, but yeah, Brandon Key brings out that caution. I think the Key and Personette incident shouldn't have brought out the caution if it was just them spinning off into the infield. But here we go. We might be seeing some strategy at play, and we are absolutely. Colin Bowden's going to lead all of these leaders down pit road as they finally decide here on lap 30 to make their first pit stop of the evening.
Yeah, I think lap 30 sounds about right for fuel, so the timing is just about right for these leaders as they hit pit road, and we'll see what's the battle's going to be off pit road. Looks like one car stayed out, Scott Crump. Stay on the track. Of course, he's been on pit road a number of times, so he's going to see if he can use that to his advantage to pick up some track position, see if he can get back on sequence later in this 80-lap, 200-mile event.
So there you go. Bowden, first one off of pit road, gets that by some margin over Gerald Campbell. And there you see everybody else filing off behind them. Yeah, Crump just pitted on that last caution there, so only 11-lap-old tires. Yeah, so very interesting there to see how that's going to play out. And yeah, we'll kind of see as this race goes on. We saw, 11-lap-old tires. They did get a bit of a longer run in there, but, maybe that didn't wear down the tires as much. Scott Crump may be able to hold off these guys for a few laps here.
Yep, wondering if it was 2 tires or 4 tires. Looked pretty quick for a 4-tire pit stop, especially if you're talking about being under the conditions of 1980s racing.
Yeah, it's tough to tell exactly. I know all the timing for 4-tire stops, but here we're seeing about 20-second pit stops for everybody down the line. I'd assume that's a 4-tire. I do see a 12-second pit stop here for Joe McAdory. So him making potentially a 2-tire pit stop there. Yep, that is the number 1 car of Joe McAdory, making a 2-tire stop. That might have been the move for that car. to try and gain some track position here during this caution.
Yep. So indeed, all the leaders taking 4 tires on this pit sequence, except for Scott Crump, who again, who's been on pit road 3 times already in this Firecracker 200. He has decided to see what he can do with slightly older rubber, and also taking a little bit of a risk with having a little less fuel in the tank. Gonna have to hope for a caution probably again in the next 20 laps or so.
Yeah, we'll see how that pays out, because if he can stay out on the racetrack, get himself to the point where he only needs to make one more pit stop, this could be really advantageous for the driver of the number 1 car, Joe McAdory. The rest of these guys, we'd assume, having pitted here on lap 33, they're going to have to make one more pit stop as well before we get to the end here.
Again, I'm liking this. I'm liking the paint scheme on Scott Crump's car.
Ooh.
Very similar. Ooh, what in the world happened back there?
I'm not too sure. That was Josh Robin there, just kind of darting to the inside of the racetrack. No damage on that car, but interesting perspective there of that car just kind of, just running around the racetrack there for a sec. But getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Not too sure what happened, but everyone seems to be unscathed.
Very interesting look for Robin's car. He's got the Jurassic Park, the ride scheme that Jeff Gordon famously took to victory lane in the 1997 All-Star race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but never quite seen it on a 1980s Monte Carlo Aero Coupe instead of the 90s version. So very interesting paint job. Meanwhile, we're back underway. Bowden, he's flying back to try and get the lead. As Gerald Campbell, he's having none of it. They are 3 wide for second.
Man, it looked like there might have even been some contact there with Bowden kind of holding back, but here you're about to see that slingshot engage with Colin Bowden going to the top, and he's going to have help from Jared Rexing. Scott Crump, meanwhile, going to have help from the 8 car, and Vincent Isabella says, nah, I'm going to go to the apron. Here we go, this battle down the back straightaway. Scott Crump immediately eaten up by the rest of this pack here as Bowden leads from Rexing, and then Robin and Crump rounding out that top 4. But look out for Isabella and Gerald Campbell there on the top lane.
Yeah, I think Crump is going to be left in the dust here. As again, these guys up in front. As we got a slingshot move, Rexing going for the lead, and he'll have it at the line. Boy, oh boy, that could be a dress rehearsal for what we might see. We are on lap 80. And here comes Josh Robin. Ooh, a little contact perhaps between the two, but luckily, Rexing able to keep in control as Isabella now moving up in that throwback to the Bell South scheme that Joe Nemechek ran in 1999. Actually won with it at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, which incidentally is where the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series, as well as the Wheel Modified Tour, are going this weekend.
Absolutely. A great-looking paint scheme for sure. Without even all that history behind it, but a competitive one that's working for Vincent Isabella right now. He's worked his way up into the 4th position. He's been a part of this conversation, but you see there the fastest lap time just being clocked. Tyler Fodey's back in this. He kind of fell back at the end of that last stint, kind of maybe got shuffled a little bit back in the order, but Tyler Fodey very much back in this fight as they're maybe almost 4 wide momentarily there down the back straightaway, but certainly 3 wide here. With Isabella, Campbell, and Fodey, they finally find their way into being just 2 wide and get it through to turn number 3.
Robin leading the inside line, Rexing leading the outside line as Isabella almost strips up there. As it'll be Rexing at the line, Bowden trying to fight back. I bet you anything that Tyler Fodey, along with fresh rubber, probably made some adjustments to that number 40 car on the pit stop.
Yeah, definitely some if there are adjustments that can be made, he probably made them, maybe just got comfortable with them, maybe just wore through his tires a little bit quickly in that first, stint there. Something you don't expect to see from Tyler Fodey, but certainly something that can happen, especially if he's getting used to a new car. But he's back at it right now, and he is competitive with the rest of these guys and going for it. This top 5 group is extremely competitive. These guys swapping positions lap after lap. It's going to be Jared Rexing again at the end of this one, but look out. Here comes Josh Robin, who's looking very strong as well. And while these guys are fighting it out for the lead, unfortunately, we're going to be joined by someone who is no longer fighting for the lead. And actually, just as we bring him in, we're going to go straight to caution here as Josh Robin is turned around. Tate, you came in at just the right time, but we are back underway with a caution flag as the leaders get involved in a pretty big incident here.
Yeah, this is these old cars are a little different than what a lot of these guys are used to running. So I knew it was going to be a hectic race. Unfortunately, the hecticness got to me a little early there.
Yeah, it looks like it's been a hectic 2 nights. You got into a couple of dust-ups yesterday in the Elite Modified Tours. Get a look at what happened as it all started with Rexy. No contact. He just got an arrow loose there. And Robin, unfortunately, the victim of circumstance there, is a lot of cars in the top of the field taking it.
Robin, Jacob Adams flips over back there off the banking. That's unfortunate for him. I think I saw Gerald Campbell get a piece of the wall too.
Yeah, so what is it about these cars that make it so different, so much more difficult than, the cars that you guys are used to, the Cup cars, which, you can throw those into 3 and 4, 1 and 2. You can throw them into any corner here on this racetrack, flat out, know it's going to stick.
I mean, I was comparing it to, it was almost felt like a Richmond, which is kind of crazy to say compared to Daytona Richmond, but the way I was entering the corner, I was letting off pretty early and letting it get to the yellow line, and then I'd slowly start easing it back into the throttle. But I have a little bit of experience in these cars, so I kind of knew what to expect. I just don't think a lot of these guys have a whole lot, and you can tell the guys that do have a lot of experience in these cars because they're running up front.
If so, going to be a bit of a shakeup here at the top of the field, as again, a couple of the early contenders caught up in this one, as we're going to have another round of pit stops here as we're coming up on halfway. A little surprising considering that these guys were just on pit road a few laps ago.
Yeah, this one's intriguing to me because at least the way I'm seeing this, the only reason if you're Colin Bowden, Tyler Fodey, unless you've got damage on that car, the only reason I see you coming down is if you believe you can make it to the end here. But based off that first stint, 30 laps, you've got 40 laps left in this race. You're going to have to come down and pit again for fuel if it is a 30 laps, run with all green flag racing. So I'm intrigued by this call. Tate, I don't know if you might be able to have some idea as to what these guys are thinking here, making the stop right after the one they made on that last caution.
I think they could probably make it from here. They got 22-gallon tanks, which is 4 gallons more than the normal Cup cars have these days. Obviously, they're going a little faster, but they're also letting off a little bit more than the regular Cup cars would getting into the corner. So I think it may be close. I obviously wasn't able to get a long enough run in there to really be able to give you a definitive answer on that, but I think 40 laps is about right.
Tate, how much time are you off throttle with these cars?
It depends on where you are in the pack. I was kind of running. I started 5th and was just trying to save some tire, hoping it would go a little green a little bit. So I was letting off pretty good. I was fully off the throttle, getting into the corner, and then once it kind of set down in the corner, I'd start easing it back into the throttle. But Bowden and Fodey, those guys that are running up front, they may be off the throttle a little less than that. They're probably just easing it into the corner, and then they're probably back to full throttle, getting it hooked around the corner in that clean air.
As we see Chad Thornquist, he stayed out, and Vincent Isabella, he just went down pit roads without stopping, so they're going to be the top 2 now, as I believe. Actually, Thornquist is pulled off to pit road, so maybe a bit of a miscue there. So I'll hand the lead over now to Vincent Isabella in the 42.
Yeah, I was just in a chat with Vincent, and he was making comments saying it was really tough for him to see where his pit stall was. So wouldn't be surprised if that was the issue on that round of pit stops.
If the lights are off on the pace car, so I think he's going to be hoping for another caution flag, although considering how things have been going so far, he's probably going to get it at some points, but he will not be able to go the distance on fuel that he has at the moment. But interesting to see what he can do with the clean air.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go for it.
No, I was just gonna say. Our 4th caution here, just ticking over to lap 40, so it's it's certainly not been a straightforward race in terms of just expecting green flag running. I'd expect, I'd love to say at least, as we continue to go on with this race, guys get more of a grips with the car. We can get longer green flag runs, but there always seems to be something that catches people up. We haven't gone too far on tire runs before, gotten all of those, so we're kind of still working in the unknown right now. So difficult to say. If we do get a ton of cautions here, that could work certainly in the favor of Vincent Isabella if everybody else around him also needs to come down pit road.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get passed by these first couple guys pretty quick here, but he should be able to slot in probably in that 6th, 7th, 8th position back there and be able to hold ground pretty well. I think there's only 4 or 5 laps on those tires.
So everybody's still got relatively fresh tires out there. We are actually just past halfway now here in the Firecracker 200 Racing League tonight. Throwing it back in this one-off event. Green is back in the air, and Isabella, he gets quite the launch, but he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck here the second that these guys get organized behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Fodey jumping the outside of Bowden. Probably trying to use Vincent as a pick going down the back straightaway, see if he can't get a run on him. We'll see where these guys go once they get the run.
Yeah, it looks
which way does Isabella go?
He's going to get split. He's going to get
3 wide.
If he's smart, he'll back out. He's not gonna. Oh, he did. All right, they made it.
That looked sketchy for sure heading into turn 3, but we know Colin Bowden's certainly not going to back out of that one as he makes that move around. Going to fight with Tyler Fodey to try and go for the lead, but here comes Chad Frankenfield. We haven't talked about him that much today in that number 15 car. He's kind of joined this battle for the lead for the first time tonight.
That's actually Cody Smith.
Oh, we saw the 15. Cody Smith.
Chad's all tuned up in the. Chad's all tuned up calling the race right now as far as penalties and stuff right now. So I think he gave up his ride to Cody.
Got confused by that number 15 on the side. It's a Ford. It's the 15. It makes sense that I'd think Chad Frankenfield.
Yeah, probably not too many times that someone else has driven a number 15 Ford, that's for sure.
Very handsome Ford. It's a throwback to a Ricky Rudd scheme from when he ran for Bud Moore back in the 80s, too. Also, about the same timing, too, with the Thunderbirds out there. So, very, very sweet-looking rides out there. But Smith now kind of falling back as he gets stranded on the inside. While top 4, they are still all bunched together down and back in front as Fodey and Isabella fighting out for second with Andy Trupliano on their tail.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys had a chance to talk about Andy. I saw when I was still in the race, he was kind of hanging back there biding his time. Another super talented driver is Fodey. Lays a decent amount of bumper and about in there down the back stretch to keep it straight off into 3.
Yeah, Andy Trupiano, like you said, first time we're talking about him really today, but showing some really good pace there, kind of sliding that inside lane, trying to get his way past the number 40 car. Looks like he can be competitive. He's done what you typically would expect to do at a super speedway, at least a modern super speedway race, and that's just kind of keep your nose clean for the first half of the race and kind of start going for it, start ramping up as you get closer and closer. Again, a lot of money on the line here for these guys. All of them really desperately want to win it and are willing to make those big moves to do it, I'm sure.
Yeah, Vincent actually made a move on Bowden there. He's not going to get any help, though. They're going to clear him down the back.
Isabella hanging in on those gold tires as Fodey switches lanes, shoots to the outside trying to use the drafting help, but he can't quite get the slingshot as Colin Bowden with a little bit of breathing room front briefly as we come down to complete lap 45.
Yeah, the cars are really, really tight. They do not want to turn getting into the corner, so you really got to set the car in there, and you could see Fodey just sideways into 3 that last time by as he's side-by-side into 1 for the lead.
I mean,
Fodey trying to make it work on the outside. These guys are just hanging on for dear life out there. And Scott Crump in the 90 car, despite his old tires, he's actually been able to make his way back up to the top 5 as he's bringing Jared Rexing back into the mix as Fodey now goes for the lead on the outside.
Yeah, Crump back on the same strategy, I think, as the rest of these guys. We saw that last call that he made to stay out on the previous caution working out for him now as he is back on cycle with these leaders. So Scott Crump very much back in this battle after that kind of messed up restart there from the 90 car. And you can see here Vincent Isabella going below the yellow line to make them 3 wide heading into turn number 1. They're going to survive and slot into 2 wide. But man, oh man, they are really going for it here on just lap 47 of 80.
Yep, just past halfway. There's still a long way to go, but these guys are not pulling any punches. Here comes Bowden back to the inside with a slingshot.
Ooh, Fodey sideways into 3.
These guys, they are driving these cars for all they are worth right now. Bowden, the leader once again. Rexing coming back up the inside. He's back up to the 3rd position, following Vincent Isabella as Fodey slots into 4th, and the battle is for 5th between Crump and Vandestam. Now we're back to a battle for the lead as Bowden not giving up once again. Isabella to the outside as Rexing's behind the two of them.
Look at this, the effect of Rexing and Crump now slotting in behind Colin Bowden. All of those guys kind of working together on the back straightaway and just pushes Bowden clear of Vincent Isabella, pushes Rexing as well clear of Vincent Isabella. And you can see without much help on the outside from Tyler Fodey, Isabella is about to lose 2, maybe 3 spots here when they come around that backstretch once again.
They are just using every inch of this racetrack. Of course, Daytona, the narrower of the 2 super speedways in America out there, and it can get pretty tight some out there sometimes. As Rexing, he's got a bit of a run. Oh, as Bowden gets loose, he's down in the runoff.
I don't think Bowden got loose. I think he got turned. I don't know where he's gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, you
back
can
on track. He got lucky.
If you see the back bumper there of that 27 car, he definitely got turned. There's damage there. The nose was certainly put into the back bumper. Colin Bowden, nobody was a fan. I think at least the drivers were certainly not fans of Colin Bowden's blocking moves down that back straightaway. And looks like they finally caught up to him.
Vincent Isabella and Scott Crump both on older tires. Not much older tires, but...
And Crump goes around.
He's around.
Fodey Rexing in the wall. Vandestam. Bowden going to get it stopped if he doesn't get hit. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, man. Bowden, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but he was on the brakes hard, and there's not too many people in the field that's getting that thing stopped before they get to the wreck.
Yeah, I don't think he hit anything out there. What an effort to get it stopped. As it started, they were 3 wide for 2nd position, and they were 2 wide for the lead. So it's going to start with Crump. Yeah, Fodey, I think, got into the back of him a little bit. And hard contacts there from Vandestam.
I think Crump was already loose. I think Crump was going to spin out either way. Fodey just kind of was there to help him out. Get it done a little faster.
Finish the job.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to go and watch this replay here from the onboard with Colin Bowden. Let's take a look here. On board with the number 27 car, Colin Bowden. This is what it looked like.
He sees him wreck it, and, I mean...
Ooh, he does get to the wall a little bit.
Little contact. That wall probably saved him. Man, is that Thornquist? Thornquist was sliding down on the apron.
And Zach Evans, too. He got on the binders quick. Somehow missed it in car number 6.
Yeah, impressive dodges by all of these guys to make it through that wreck, and that's certainly going to come back to help them later on in this race. Is Thornquist now running in the 7th position, Bowden back up to the 6th position after going off earlier. Yeah, definitely, again, another big shakeup in this field. You got Michael Goodman. Shout out to him there. It says he's in the 32 car, but screen shows he's on the 44 car. Michael Goodman running up in the top 5.
Well, Goody, he's being sneaky. They're going to come back down for another set of pit stops. I think that's going to help guys like Vincent, who had a little bit of a tire disadvantage there, but was still able to keep pace on that run. I think it'll be a little easier for him to do so on this next. As he finds his pit stall well this time.
As Goodman almost overshot his pit stall there. It's Isabella. He had been complaining, I guess, about not being able to see his pit stall, but was able to hit the mark this time around. You know, he'll be back on sequence with the rest of the field.
Here they roll off pit road, and Vincent Isabella looks like he will win that race off pit road. You've got the number 34 of Angie Trupiano as well rolling off behind them. Michael Goodman actually works his way up to 3rd, so a good pit stop for them. I think you see damage for Tyler Fodey. He's going to sit on pit road for a little bit longer. Some other guys as well, I think, might just be
Colin
sitting there.
Bowden comes off in fourth after using 2 of his 9 lives in this race in the span of about 2 laps.
These guys also got to be careful, make sure they're unclicking that fast repair, because there was a glitch in the session where there was unlimited fast repairs that obviously we're not a league that uses them, so the drivers were responsible for unclicking that fast repair between each pit stop. So we got to, hopefully all the drivers remember to do that, otherwise they will be DQ'd.
So 52 laps will be complete when they come back around this time. It'll be 27 to go as the field now lines back up with the pace car. So definitely a bit of a shakeup among the top spots, but again, you still got the usual contenders still in this. And again, Colin Bowden, he's had the best car so far. Just a teensy bit of bad luck, but he had some good luck though right afterwards to keep from getting into what could have been a race-ending crash.
See what Michael Goodman can do up here. He's slotted in second place after those pit stops. Along with that, Johnny Thomas up in fourth place. A very good super speedway racer. Another guy that I know's probably been running some laps today, and a guy that you can count on to be able to handle the horsepower and the speeds of these cars. So I look for him to do some good things. I have a lot of respect for the driver of the 83 there. I'll be pulling for him to get the job done here come closing laps.
Along with Tate Lytle, Rich Koshala, I'm Connor Sullivan here on the Elite Racing Network as we are having a throwback night here with the 1987 NASCAR Cup cars here in the Firecracker 200 here at the legacy version of the Daytona International Speedway. As it's been a wild and woolly race out there so far, but it has been fun to watch here. Of course, racing in the memory of Joseph E. McAdory III tonight.
Yeah, his son here running that #1 car, Joe McAdory, running in the P9 position right now, so we'll see. He gained some advantage there off that last caution, that last pit cycle. We'll see what he can do here as we're heading towards kind of this final run in this race. The lights are off on the pace car, though, and we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
Vincent Isabella leads the field down, keeping it close to the wall, making sure nobody can get around to the outside. There's the green flag, but Colin Bowden, he did not get the memo, though, as he is able to find a little bit of room to the outside of Mike Goodman. And he's going to have Johnny Thomas following him up into the third position. Haven't seen Thomas this high in the field so far tonight.
Yeah, Goodman did not get a very good restart there, and he left just enough room on the outside where Bowden was able to get a run. He's got a run on Vincent Isabella going down the backstretch.
Oh, here we go. You can see Goodman getting swamped by the rest of this group here. They do finally settle in here, and Goodman stays in P5. But yeah, Bowden to the lead over Vincent Isabella, and Johnny Thomas, the 00 as well now of Jason Hounshell, has joined this fight up front. This is the first time we're really mentioning him tonight. Cody Smith as well in that number 15 or 3 Ford, and Joshua Personette finding his way up towards the front. So a few new names here running at the top of this field right now.
Bow for the lead. Bowden, he had a run down to the inside, and he slots back in front of Vincent Isabella. So despite a drive through the infields and nearly getting the nose taken off of that 27 car,
you can see that damage is definitely affecting Bowden down the straightaways, though. He's able to make it work, make up for a little bit in the corners, but Vincent was able to drive right around him with similar exit speeds there. So we'll have to pay attention to that and see if he can, as long as he's in the draft, he's fine, but once he gets out in that lead, I think that damage is definitely affecting him a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to think about how he strategizes on the end of the race, where the draft is going to be his best friend, and so is the slingshot if he wants to go for the win on lap number 8, but still a long way to go before we get to that point, as we are now down to 25 laps to go.
Johnny Thomas says, you guys have your fun up here. I'm going to slap back here in about 7th or 8th. Watch you guys put on the show, save my tires. maybe those guys up front getting a crash. Johnny slot back in up in the top couple spots.
Joshua Personettes, it's been the highest we've seen him so far tonight, as Isabella with the drafting help on the outside from Cody Smith.
Ooh, Cody Smith makes that dive to the bottom lane, blocking off Colin Bowden, and Smith is going to go and take over the lead for the first time here tonight.
Smith, he got a little out of shape there, almost opens the door back open for Bowden on the inside, but Smith with the run down the back straightaway is Isabella and Bowden.
Wow.
There, wide for the top spot.
That was close going down the backstretch. Bowden almost got himself hooked in front of the field as Rexing's showing his face again up here in the top 3.
Yep, so Rexing with the Nesquik look on that number 22 car. It's been a bit of a riser and a faller out there, but he is once again rising as Isabella with the slingshot on the outside. Rexing, he's going to go with him on that high line.
Yeah, it's always interesting to me that Rexing runs a throwback at Jeff Green's Nesquik car back when he won the Busch Series championship back in 2000, and then Jeff Green, I've never seen him in any Nesquik colors in Elite Racing, so it's always kind of funny to me that Rexing's got that car and Jeff Green doesn't.
It confused me at the beginning of the race. I figured it was Jeff Green doing a throwback to himself, but Rexing, he's going to make a good run. He's going to go for the lead. Oh, but not so.
He's going to turn. Bowden's going to big crash.
Rexing.
Oh, and the leaders almost got together.
Rexing's done. I didn't see if Colin caught any of the wall there. Oh, he definitely did.
He got a lot of damage there. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. See what happened to these guys is, Jared Rexing, Colin Bowden, 2 of the fastest guys here tonight, involved in a big wreck here on lap 59 of 80 tonight. We're getting down to it, and guys are starting to make these big moves here.
Yeah, I think Bowden just kind of got a little greedy there, trying to make it 3 wide, and it's going to end up ending his night and Jared Rexing's. Almost slips over there in the grass, front bumper.
Yeah, Rexing might not have been. I think it was just a racing incident. Again, I think that Bowden, he did get a little greedy, but Rexing, maybe not the best block he could have thrown out there. Just a little bit of impatience as we're starting to get down into the final quarter of the Firecracker 200.
Yeah, I'd have to see another replay on that, a little more straight up. From that angle, it didn't really look like Rexing threw much of a block. Bowden just kind of had a run on those 2 guys that were up front, and
let's see if we can
looked
get
like he was
one.
going to try and make it 3 wide.
Let's see if we can get one from in front of these guys, maybe from above.
Yeah, let's see what we can do here. If we can get maybe like a camera if the chopper was on them, and it was, which is perfect. So we'll actually see it just peek out over here.
Yeah, I don't see Rexing going down. Maybe a little bit of a net code, but yeah, Bowden with that damage, he was probably just trying to take every run he could get just because he kind of knew he needed to. And yeah, it's unfortunate for him and Jared Rexing. Both of them are going to be out of the Firecracker 200.
Man, oh man, but it's definitely going to open the door for a lot of different drivers here. Are we back to green?
I don't know if we ever left from green, actually.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I completely missed that. I assumed with such a big crash there, but it was. Oh, well.
There's another one. Cody Smith and Michael Goodwin.
They're off the track, though.
They're not going to hit anything. Wow, so we were actually. Goodness gracious me.
And I think we're going to stay green here because they just kept it off the racetrack.
It's still green.
Yep.
So that eliminates, well, at least those 2 from the lead bell.
Speaking of green, you got Jeff Green in the green car in 3rd place there. He's making his way back up to the front.
Fodey going for the lead on the outside, but green is going to stick with Vincent Isabella down on the inside. So definitely an interesting turn of events. A big crash did not bring out the yellow flag, and we've already had another spin involving a pair of the lead cars early on the event. So let's take a quick look at the rundown. Isabella, Fodey, Jeff Green, Gerald Campbell, and Ryan Gavel, who had all that damage after a hard wreck early in the race. He's back up at battling in the top 5.
Yeah, Gerald Campbell, he's back up there in 4th place. He got some damage in that wreck that took out Josh Robin.
Yep. Meanwhile, Jeff Green, he's got some drafting help from Campbell behind as they try to gang up on Vincent Isabella.
Vincent's running a really good race. I was in Discord with him before I came up here to join you guys in the booth. And he told me, he says he's going to go put on a show, and he's doing just that.
Well, he's definitely has the odds more in his favor now that his toughest competition has been pretty much eliminated here in the last couple of laps. But here comes Fodey now with a slingshot down to the inside through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Fodey's a tough guy anywhere you put him, let alone you got a car with this much horsepower at these speeds. You know he's going to be tough, one of the best drivers in Elite, and he proves it time in and time out as they're kind of ganging up on the bottom on Vincent, but he's holding pretty strong on Fodey.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Jeff
Ooh,
Green, a little bump.
With Gerald Campbell down there on the inside as Fodey, he's going to have the lead off the slingshots, but Isabella, he's trying to get right back on his bumper. Isabella to the outside as they come down to complete lap number 64.
Yeah, Personette hanging up in there in top 5 as well. Lots of fun names that you don't see a lot of up in the top 5 running up in the top 5 right now for $250.
I was just going to say, Joshua Personette, I mean, you want to find a guy who's extremely good on these super speedways, knows how to kind of wait for his opportunities to come to him. That's Joshua Personette right here, and he's done exactly that, running in the 5th position, racing alongside co-team owner Gerald Campbell there, and these guys are chasing down Jeff Green and chasing down the leaders as well. This is going to be a close finish between this top 6.
Looks like Fodey might have gotten a little out of shape there as Isabella trying to look to his outside, but Fodey with the block there as Jeff Green and Gerald Campbell trying to gang up on him on the inside as they are side by side for second with 15 laps to go.
It's kind of a constant accordion effect. You'll see him kind of get spread out single file, and then next time by they'll be too wide up front. See those guys back in 10th, 9th, 8th, Thornquist, Evans, Thomas, they're going to need to start making their way back towards the front if they're going to have a chance of the win of this thing.
Green's got a look on the inside with some drafting help from Campbell as Fodey, he doesn't want to leave.
Oh!
Isabella gets out of shape. Isabella keeps it going as Jeff Green goes through to take the lead.
And the iRacing officials continue to say, no, we're going to stay green flag racing here. Vincent Isabella still running on the racetrack, and Jeff Green will take over the lead as we cross the line that time by. So continue the third incident there in this green flag run here. They don't care. We're going to stay green flag racing and give us this action.
Oh, it's like a slasher flick out there right now. It's just everybody going down one at a time and leaving just fewer and fewer contenders at the front, but there's still a good race going on as Jeff Green and Tyler Fodey are side by side, but Fodey has no drafting help. Campbell going to stick with Jeff Green.
Yeah, Campbell's got to be careful. He's really, really close to the back bumper of Jeff Green.
Oh,
as I say that, he gets loose.
Does Campbell
He
save
saves
it?
the car.
He does.
Saves it so far. We'll see how that transition back on the track goes.
Just
wow.
fine. Wow. All right. Impressive there from Gerald Campbell. So another incident. Keep counting at home, folks. That's 4 incidents here in this green flag run, and we're staying green. Tyler Fodey now from Jeff Green, and then Jason Houndshell and Joshua Personette rounding out that top 4. Ryan Gavel, Chad Thornquist, Zach Evans, top 7 there.
And should point out that there's still 14 cars on the lead lap, so you got a yellow flag. You're getting a lot of heavy hitters that are right back in this thing. But tell you what, these guys, they don't want to see a yellow flag. They want as few competitors to go up against here as we enter the final laps. Fodey, your leader, but Jeff Green sticking right with him as we now work lap 69.
Yeah. Ryan Gable to the bottom for 3rd. He was really fast at the beginning portions of the race. Obviously had that incident where he got in the fence, got some damage, but he's making a good comeback because they're starting to get kind of spread out here. We'll see who's saved the most tire. The problem for a lot of these guys behind Tyler Fodey is he's normally one of the best at saving the tires. So we'll see how the last 10 or 11 laps go here.
See.
Get a little.
Ooh, Fodey!
He's loose.
What a save!
Oh my
what
goodness.
a save from Tyler Fodey.
Watch the 00 on the apron there. Oh, he got back on the track pretty Pretty good there. Jeff Green did a really good job to not run over Tyler Fodey there, and Tyler Fodey did an even better job of not spinning that car out.
You know, I thought it looked like Green was trying to loosen him up there to get him off the bottom, but he got him a little too loose, and it nearly cost both of them. It is also done the job to bring the rest of the top 10 into this. Here comes Gable. He's got some drafting information.
Oh, and Jeff Green goes around.
Green's in the wall. Gabble's around.
This is going to bring out the caution for sure. Green's in
That's
the wall
yellow
there.
Is out. Yellow flag is out.
Gable, Green,
it's-
Thornquist.
As we come down to 10 to go. Oh, what a heartbreaker. Jeff Green, the former Busch Series champion. He was right in the thick of battle, but I think a little bit too aggressive out there as we are back under the yellow flag. And what heartbreaker for Ryan Gable as well, after he had climbed back through the field after his troubles early in the race.
Yeah, I think
Jeff
that's
Green was about 3 inches from being clear there, and he went to go down to the bottom and pass Fodey.
I think Jason Hounshell just slides right on through this. I want to get the onboard picture from him because he'll watch as all of these guys go around right next to him.
And Zach Evans, my brother from Speed 51, he somehow made through, and he's up to 4th position after all that.
Ooh, a little bit of contact there for Houndsell. I'd love to see. Yeah, let's take a look at that Zach Evans machine because I want to see if he got any damage there. That'd be incredible for Zach Evans if he could work his way up towards the front here. Was kind of hanging back, watching these guys duke it out, waiting for a situation just like this. Here we go on board with Zach Evans during this incident.
He's going to get into the 92 a little bit.
But outside of that, a little bit of contact there on the front. I think he's going to avoid that 30 car spinning, and he does. So probably minimal damage here on the front end of this number 6 car, and you can see it there. Not really a ton there to deal with there for Zach Evans.
And
Yeah,
also,
Campbell did a good job of keeping it off of the fence, getting more damage than he did too.
love
Johnny
that Mark
Thomas
Martin
up to
card.
5th.
Look at all
Love
these
that Mark
guys.
card that Evans has out there as we have a final round of pit stops here for some fuel and some fresh rubber as we are now down to the final 7 laps.
Yeah, I think everybody wants some tires here to make it to the end. And Tate, having driven these cars around this racetrack, how much do those tires actually make a difference here? Normally, you talk about tires at a super speedway, and it's almost an afterthought. You don't really think about them as being important here. But how important are they to get you good lap time, keep you in front of the rest of your competitors? Why has everybody come down pit road here with just 8 laps to go in this race?
I mean, they got to have 20 laps on those tires. That's probably worth second and a half a lap, even in the draft. The way that this car's set up on those old tires, especially if you're trying to keep pace with the guys on new tires, you're going to slide up, and you're going to have a really hard time keeping it out of the fence. So I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Come down pit, get tires on pit road, especially with so few cars on the lead lap.
You have 14 cars on the lead lap. As we'll give you the full order here. Tyler Fodey's your leader, followed by Joshua Personette, Johnny Thomas, Zach Evans, Jason Hounshell, the top 5. And it's Ryan Gable, Michael Goodman, Cody Smith, Chad Thornquist, Gerald Campbell, the top 10. And then rounding out the lead lap cars is Vincent Isabella, Scott Crump, Jeff Green, Jacob, Josh Robin, actually, as we got a little bit of cycle for pit stop. So it's Isabella, Robin, Jeff Green. They keep jumping around here, but again, 14 cars, make that 15 cars on the lead lap. Yeah, I believe it's 15. Fairly sure.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, but in any case, again, some of the top contenders, they did get eliminated from this race. Of course, Rexing, Jared Rexing, Colin Bowden, those were some of the heavy hitters early on in this race, and they are both eliminated. Just, oh my goodness, I just got scared. We got a big thunderstorm outside the window up here at my home base in Connecticut. Hopefully I don't lose power here in the final 6 laps or so.
Yeah, no
Because I want to
thunderstorms
see how this
here.
one ends.
We could sure use some of that rain up here in Idaho. You can kind of see the sun poking through all the smoke. Got a lot of forest fires in the in the region. So
I can tell you, Ohio needs no more rain. We've had way too much.
yeah, send it our way.
We literally broke the precipitation record for Connecticut before Hurricane Elsa even got here last week. That's how bad it's been up here, and we just got a ton after that, and just, oh my goodness. And the racing schedule around here has just been impacted rather severely. It's been very frustrating. Hopefully, Signer Skies is ahead, especially considering that we have the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour in town up at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this weekend.
We're getting ready to go green here. It's going to be, I think, 7 laps to go. Fodey, Personette, and Johnny Thomas, top 3.
Looking for the green. There it is. As Fodey maintains the advantage.
Thomas to the bottom of Personette.
Thomas waits till they cross the line, and he makes the swing down to the inside as Houndshell comes down to the inside as well. You get Spy Evans and Ryan Gable. He's not out of this one just yet.
Yeah, you see Personette kind of left to dry up on the top lane right there, kind of waiting for some help to potentially come, but he's going to have to slot in behind all of these guys as they kind of slide on by here on the bottom, and it is going to be Johnny Thomas leading the way here into turn number 3. Tyler Fodey, though, not going to let him run away with it too quickly. Fodey looking to the outside. Ryan Gable still hanging on the inside lane and working with that number 40 car. Look for those guys to move forward there. Teammates probably working together pretty closely.
And Cody Smith coming up. Of course, he spun out, but he didn't hit anything, so his car is probably driving the best out of these guys that have damage out there as things are getting very squirrely. Gable right on the back bumper of Tyler Fodey now for the top spot.
Yeah, another thing to pay attention to. I don't know if they got put in or not with the session being kind of glitchy, but we may not have any green-white checkers. So if there's a caution here the next, after, with 4 to go probably, we probably won't get another restart. So these guys are going to, the intensity is high right now as we're coming to 5 to go.
A reminder that...
Yep, that would be in accordance with rules from the 1980s, but it's time to do it, though. 5 laps to go as Gable just looking for any way past Tyler Fodey, as we see now Vincent Isabella trying to make his way back up.
Yeah, a reminder that these guys are fighting for $250. The winner of this event gets, and all the top 5 finishers get some payout as well. They'll all make a profit from this event ultimately, but man, oh man, do they all want that winner's sum. They are all starting to really go for it. We are at 5 laps to go here. We're going to tick over to 4 laps to go, and you can see guys sideways through the corner right on the edge.
Yeah, Vincent Isabella is driving the wheels off of that thing.
Isabella almost lost it. He saves the car, and he's coming right back up the inside to 3rd, now going for 2nd, now with 4 laps to go.
He's going to the inside of Fodey. Can he hold it? He will. He's got a nose ahead. Vincent Isabella's got the lead in turn 1 and 2.
Entering turn number 1, Vincent Isabella was 4 miles an hour faster than anyone else around him. That was the help that he got from Gerald Campbell, but it's all gone now because Campbell, with the rest of these cars in the bottom lane, is going to slide on past to get the lead here. And Vincent Isabella, after all that work to get to the front, is going to fall back here. Unless they can get that top line organized, we're starting to see maybe this modern day plate racing almost come to life, where you just got to get this run together, get the line together, and you can get the lead away.
Here comes Johnny Thomas, got a run on Campbell, going to go to the outside with help from Vincent Isabella.
It is a mosh pit in the top 5 right now. Anyone can win with 3 to go, as Thomas with the lead, but Campbell with a look to the inside. Meanwhile, Isabella hanging it all out on the outside line as they go down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Johnny's getting a big push from Gerald here.
Yeah, just look at that organization on the bottom lane there. That right there makes it so hard for anybody to make something work on the top. You see, we've got guys around.
They're wrecking. They're wrecking.
Wrecking up front here. Fodey involved in that.
Big wreck. Caution's out.
Could be a race to the line here, unless they are freezing time out there.
And there are green-white checkers.
Oh, boy.
There are.
So it's not over, folks. Johnny Thomas scored the leader, but
man,
another good batch of cars out there, some of which, again, were able to re-rack their way as we'll wait for the replay here. Just
So
I think you can say nothing but it's a little bit of late race rambunctious that's getting the best of him.
So you see that wreck in the back. We'll go to that a little bit later, but there's one right here up front, and this is the one that really brings out the caution. The 00 of Jason Houndshell gets hit there by the 15 of Cody Smith. Another car involved in that incident as well.
Tyler Fodey,
yeah.
the race he had,
Tyler Fodey,
cleaned
man.
out with 4 laps to go.
Unfortunate there for Fodey. He was having such a good run here. We'll go back and take a look at the other incident that occurred just moments earlier. That was involving the number 6 car of Zach Evans, I believe. Was it? Yeah, it was, I believe. And you see there as, Michael Goodman just slams into that 6 car, and unfortunately for Evans, nowhere to go there. You see Joshua Personette involved actually in that first incident, not the second one.
So just all heck breaking loose here in the end of the Firecracker 200 as we're going to be going into overtime. So what's the words here? Is it just one overtime period, or is it the unlimited that we see in the Cup Series nowadays?
I'm still technically in the session, and it's showing three chances at it. So if we don't get the white flag this next time, we'll re-rack them, restack them, and try it again.
So just an absolute amount of chaos there is. Taking a look at the top 5 right now is Johnny Thomas, your leader, over Gerald Campbell, Vincent Isabella, and Chad Thornquist, but I'm not seeing very much outside those top 4 cars. Might be some guys on pit road at the moment.
Yeah, just these 4 guys on the track right now. Ryan Gable just coming off of pit road. The rest of the guys behind him all on pit road as well. So this top 4 deciding to stay out here, run this green-white checker on. Let's take a look here. 8-lap-old tires or so, maybe a few laps less than that. We're under green flag racing, but still.
Man, how many wrecks has Gable been a part of tonight? I feel like it's
most of them.
3.
Somehow that car still has all its bumpers on it, so they might be a little bit bent up, and the sheet metal might not be straight. But man, oh man, Ryan Gable has been doing a great job at I mean, he's been involved in all these wrecks, but he's done a great job at surviving the wrecks for sure.
Yeah, he's been involved in a lot of them, but he's obviously done a really good job of kind of minimizing the damage. And we're going to come to 2 to go here this next restart, and he's going to have the freshest tires out of the top 5. So he's far from out of this thing.
Yep, as we see some other cars, and they're still getting up to speed after making some pit stops. Some Joshua Personette. Jeff Green, despite the big wreck he was in, he's still on the lead lap. I believe he will be restarting in 8.
Yeah, and just a reminder to our viewers, top 5 get paid here. So it's not just the winner that gets paid. Top 5 will all be making money. 5th place getting $50, 4th 75, 3rd 100, 2nd $125, and 1st place obviously that $250 payout.
Boy, it is down to it. And see Thomas down on the apron. I wonder if he's close on fuel, perhaps.
No.
No, I actually don't see him.
Nope.
Oh, he
might have
must
just
have
put
lagged
a
out.
blink. Yep, just a quick blink there from Johnny Thomas. Hopefully that doesn't persist here.
Don't do that to me, Johnny.
Yeah, otherwise he will be asked to go to the end of the line. Johnny Thomas, those of you, again, who follow our Wednesday night series will know that Johnny Thomas came so close so many times to winning races in the Cup Series, was so close to winning the regular season championship, was having such a good run in the Cup Series, but could not quite get into victory lane here. It'd be great to see this 83 car, though, visit victory lane once again.
But he has a lot of hungry hounds behind him, and just being able to show the ability to just make up a lot of positions in quite short amount of time. Certainly Vincent Isabella, Gerald Campbell, and Ryan Gable showing a lot of speed out there.
2 of the most aggressive guys in the league are right behind Johnny here.
Pace car makes the hard left. It's overtime, and the Firecracker 200 green flag is in the air. A nice start from Thomas as they look to get organized behind him.
Yeah, there's nothing for organization back there. Vincent Isabella is going to jump to the outside of Gerald Campbell with help from Chad Thornquist. Ryan Gable right on the bumper of the 31, going to get him loose getting into 1.
Oh, look at them, and what a save there
3
by
wide, they save it.
Campbell.
Vincent Isabella is going to have a heater of a run going down the backstretch on Johnny Thomas, I'd have to imagine.
Isabella, he's got a draft on Johnny Thomas, but will he be able to use it as they are 3 wide for 5th behind? As Isabella looks to the outside, but he gets a little bit of a wiggle there, loses some momentum, and here comes the rest of the pack. Cable looking to the inside. He's going to go with Johnny Thomas. No, he
not.
makes 3 wide as they come to the white flag.
Look at this run from Ryan Gable, and look at Chad Thornquist, Gerald Campbell both lining up behind him. Gable will lead as we get the white flag here. This race will be official with the next flag that waves, whether or not that's the checkered flag or the yellow flag, and they're 3 wide
Gable's
into 1.
loose. Johnny's in
Oh!
it. Vincent's in the wall. Johnny's in the wall. Everyone's wrecking. Joshua Personet's going to come down to the... Oh, he gets loose.
No, he's going to get loose. Vincent Isabella in the lead right now. Has the caution come out, though?
No cautions on the last lap.
I think
Still green.
Vincent Isabella is going to have this thing won, I think, unless there's someone I didn't see.
unless the caution came out, timing and scoring shows Ryan Gable as the leader here, but we're going to wait until they cross the line and get confirmation from the race officials. I don't know if this race was called on that back straightaway mid-wreck, or if they're going to let it run to the finish here. Otherwise, it could be Vincent Isabella.
No, Vincent Isabella coming to the checkered flag. Vincent Isabella is going to win the race.
Oh, my goodness. After
He
the
is.
entire top of the field. Yes, scoring is official. Vincent Isabella has taken the win here. I did not see the yellow light on those walls. It was green on the
Well, there's no such thing as yellow flag on the last lap on iRacing, and Vincent Isabella came across the line. He's going to win the $250 and the Joe McAdory Memorial Firecracker 200.
Still got a car upside down in the back straightaway there.
absolute chaos at the end of that one as Isabella, the front end of that 42 car, all crunched in.
We got to take a look and see just how this thing ended here. It was Gable getting
Gable
loose
got
there.
loose.
Yeah.
Johnny goes up the track, kind of clips Vincent, and then Vincent bouncing off the wall clips Johnny.
Personette was so close.
Personette got in there a little hot. Got himself loose, and I saw this back here. He's going to slam the wall again, I think, getting into turn 3.
Oh, no.
He's full
Personette.
throttle.
Oh, man, I love that. Going
Johnny's-
for it.
Johnny's car's so hurt, though, Personette's going to be able to get back around him for 3rd.
Yeah, so Thomas, he just got too much damage to be able to keep up with Isabella there, and that's how it gets. And Isabella, he is doing the victory donuts in an absolutely wild conclusion to the Joseph E. McAdory Memorial Firecracker 200. $250 to Vincent Isabella tonight in an absolute barn burner at Daytona.
What a finish there, man. Ridiculous finish. All of the leaders getting involved in that wreck and just quick race to the end there in terms of who could lead it. And Vincent Isabella, what a job. Well done. But Joshua Personette, big shout out to him getting that 2nd place. You could tell he was gunning it, did not lift at all, I think, during that entire sequence. Great to see there. Johnny Thomas comes up just short again, but 3rd place, a good payout there. Cody Smith and Chad Thornquist rounding out that top 5. Both those guys getting nice payouts tonight. I think all of them enjoying this race here. And Jeff Green, how about that? Involved in that massive accident before bringing out that last caution, brings that car home in P6.
Jacob Adams, Ryan Gable, for all the 9 lives that Gable used up. I think he's down to about maybe 2 or 3 so far. After this one tonight, says see Gerald Campbell and Scott Crump. He was one of the first drivers to be in trouble in the beginning of this race, but he comes home with a top 10 finish and an absolute melee of a race here. Again, no points on the line, just bragging rights and cash before we begin the B season of the 2021 Elite Racing League.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, what a crazy race there.
It was a ridiculous finish, and one of those guys who was part of that ridiculous finish coming home across the line P2 there, Joshua Personette, man, so close there. We could tell in that entire last lap. I don't think there was any lift from you in that 18 car, and we loved to see it.
You know, once they wadded him up in the middle of 1 and 2, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and then I saw all of them in the wall, and I was just trying to stay in it on the bottom the best I could, but once I clipped the apron there, kind of sent me towards the grass, and I was like, at that point, fuck it, right? And you might as well just full send it. In the grass the best I could, but I wasn't able to catch Vincent fast enough, but I was able to get back around by Johnny.
Yeah, it's a second there on the on that last lap. What was going through your head when you saw all 7 of those guys up in the turn 2 fence?
Try to avoid them the best I could. I figured it was coming, but I figured it was going to happen in 3 and 4, not 1 and 2. So at that point, I was just trying not to become the pinball.
Connor, anything you want to ask Josh here?
Yeah, it looks like the whole race was just aggressive, start to finish. Again, it's just so tricky to handle these cars with all the power, the lack of downforce. What do you think?
This was my first race ever running these cars, so it took me the entire race to learn how to work the car well enough to make it work in both lanes. And then it was either the last restart or second to last restart. Johnny got by me on the bottom, and at that point, I figured I was just going to drop to the back and wait for him to wad up and hopefully have a chance there at the end.
All right, Josh. Well, still a great result for you. You're going to walk home with $125 in your pocket. So still great job there, man, coming across the line P2. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Joshua Personette, your runner-up tonight. But we're going to now bring in our race winner there and all of that chaos. Vincent Isabella, man, just that run all the way to the end after being involved in that wreck between 1 and 2. What was going through your head there? Did you know you could make it? Did you know at what point did you realize you had this win?
When Weeks told me I was clear of everybody. He was spotting there at the end a little bit. But, yeah, I just tried to keep it straight because it's all you can do at that point.
Yeah, Vince, before I left, you said you were going to put on a show. And you even DM'd me there on one of those cautions asking how the show was. And I got to say, the show was pretty damn good. You made a huge run there with, I think, 10 to go, coming from the back there to the lead, and seemed like 2 laps. And that last lap, it seemed like there were 7 cars going for about 3 spots on the racetrack, and you were able to come out on top of it. But when you were face first in the wall, or I shouldn't say face first, but side first in the wall there in turn 2, were you still thinking that you were going to be able to get it, or?
Yeah, I just kept my foot to the floor and just was pushing Johnny. And then as soon as I saw the hole, I ducked to the bottom because he was stuck on the fence. So then I looked in my mirror and saw Personette coming, and then I think he just spun.
Yeah, I think he would have been able to pull a James Busher on you and get you, but he put the apron out of turn 2 and sent her through the grass and came home in second place. But yeah, quite the show. Not too often you get to win by almost 5 seconds at Daytona, especially for $250.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, what a show Elite put on. I'm sure I'm going to go back and watch the broadcast tonight. I'm sure you guys did amazing as always. And wow. And shout out to Joe.
Vincent, how crazy was the race as a whole? It looked like you guys were just working hard every time the green flag was out.
Oh yeah, it was really, really hard. Super loose on the short runs, and then it got real tight. So you had to really give people room and not try to kill each other.
All right, Vincent. Time for you to roll the credits. Who would you like to thank for getting you to victory lane tonight?
Definitely Pro Edge Racing. Little one-off deal with them to run. Tate was, in the race with me for a little bit there.
Yeah, like 3 laps.
Yeah. Shane D. Mantova Designs. He always paints all my cars.
Really like the Joe Nemechek look.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, I loved it. I love that car. Yeah, just everybody, looking forward to this season coming up.
All right, man. Again, great job. Congratulations walking out of tonight with $250 in your pocket. Great job. And, we'll be looking forward to seeing you this upcoming season coming off of a Truck Series championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, your race winner, Vincent Isabella there. Been a great offseason for him, or end of the 2021 A season, and we're going to bring in now to finish it off our third place finisher, Johnny Thomas. Man, it was so close there. You were leading through turns 1 and 2 at the white flag. Just came up a little bit short there, but still a great takeaway from this race. P3 at the end.
Yeah, it's like rinse and repeat, however you say it. Because it's the same thing that happens every dang time I go to these places. I don't know what some of these guys were thinking early on, but I would just stay in the back and let everybody crash. Had all my fenders on me. I had a really fast car. I wish that caution didn't come out with, 10, 15 laps to go, because I was saving tires. I would have been able to get up there. Put myself in position to win it. Just got 3 wide. I forgot you're allowed to go below the yellow line, and Gavel took me 3 wide. He got loose. I saw him getting loose, and I kind of went up a little bit, and I think Vincent went up too, banged the wall and coming to me and wrecked me, and that pretty much ended it. Luckily, everybody else wrecked, so I still got something, I think $100, something like that, which is cool. But I don't know. I'm always disappointed coming out of Daytona and Talladega.
Yeah, Johnny, I was pulling for you. I wasn't sure if there was green, white checkers or not. So when that caution came out with 2 or 3 to go there, I was like, maybe Johnny did it. But unfortunately, there was green, white checkers, and yeah, that last lap was pretty crazy. But entering the corner 3 wide in the middle in these cars on this track, I'm sure you kind of expected something to happen. You're just kind of hoping that you were going to be the one that came out on top, as Vincent was able to do.
Yeah, I was expecting something to happen, especially with Gavel on the bottom. Because he seems to be in a lot of issues with me, and it's annoying. But what are you doing in the booth, man?
Hey, when you crash out on lap 23 and you don't got anything else to do, why not?
But it's fun. I had a good time. Just wish I would win one of these things. It sucks. It sucks. I hate finishing second, third, fourth. I just want to win a damn race. That's it.
Well, I think you're a little bit extra determined with the B season coming up. So what do you think? Think you can finally nail down one of these?
Yeah, gonna go out and win Daytona, man. At the start of the season, the Cup Series. Me, got a great group behind us with Belly Up Sports. Mike Brown coming on board and forming a team in Elite. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but who knows? See if we can get some. We had a good season last year. Hope to kick it off good.
Yeah, well, love the love the grind that you've been putting on here, man. We'd love to see you talking to us here. Hopefully you're talking to us from victory lane one of these days. We know how close you came last season and tonight as well, but $100 in your pocket surely has to help that a little bit there. And yeah,
lots of drinking money.
Yeah,
Tell you what, especially with Friday and Saturday night coming up.
Oh yeah, so there you go. Congratulations on that, man, and can't wait to see you at the 500 in just a couple weeks' time. But again, congratulations on third place tonight.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for broadcasting. Shout out to everybody who put this thing on. Joe McAdory, the tribute race was really cool.
All right, there you go. Your third place finisher, Johnny Thomas, and with that, let's wrap up tonight. A wild night for sure of crazy racing in these 87 cars, something we're not used to seeing. But I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for having me on as well. It's cool to call one of these races. I love my modifieds, but this was definitely a good little something different here before I know season gets on proper for the B season for 2021, but definitely very fun times here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for letting me join you guys. Unfortunate end to my race, but I had a fun time up here in the booth with you guys watching it from a different angle. I enjoy doing this every once in a while, so I'm glad you guys were able to let me come up here and join you for the finish of the race.
All right, great having you guys with me up in the booth. Again, to our regular viewers, we'll be back underway with the 2021 B season very shortly here. The Clash coming up will be broadcasted here on the Elite Racing Network. And, of course, all 3 major NASCAR series as well as our IndyCar series will be running on their standard dates. But certainly don't miss out on Connor and Michael Goodman covering our modified series on Tuesday nights. I believe you guys are headed up to Stafford next, right?
Yep, that's correct. The Tuesday nights, 7:50 p.m. we're coming down to the final stretch there. Got just 3 races to go there, as just a short 8-race schedule here over the summer, but definitely a good time with the Mod Squad.
Absolutely. A great championship there, a great competition, of course, great broadcast there on the Elite Racing Network. So with that being said, from myself, Rishav Khosla, Connor Sullivan, Tate Lytle, all up here in the booth, it's been an absolute pleasure bringing you guys the action from the Joseph E. McAdory, the 3rd Memorial Firecracker 200, your race winner, as you can see there. Vincent Isabella walking away with the grand prize of $250. And with all that being said, that's all tonight. We'll see you guys next time.